So hey, hello, and yeah, welcome. Today I have this guy from Shadows of Adam, and I think he can introduce himself.
Hi everybody, I'm Tyler Mire. I'm one of the developers of Shadows of Adam.
Okay, well that was a really short introduction. Um, is Shadows of Adam the first game you made?
Shadows of Adam is the first commercial project that I've developed. Years and years ago, I was part of the RPG Maker community, and we made a lot of fun little freeware games. But that was back in our teens, and now this is our first. Well, my first commercial project. Other guys in the team have been involved with professional projects. Our art director Tim was involved with Zynga back when he lived in San Francisco, and helped to release a lot of the games. I think Farmville was one of them. So it's kind of a mix of experience there in the team. But this is the first commercial project we've done, us five, as through the development team, Something Classic. So this is Something Classic's first commercial project.
Okay, I heard on Twitter that you had a successful Kickstarter campaign. How did that work?
Yeah, so we did a Kickstarter the beginning of 2016 in January. I think we launched right at the end of January and went through the middle of February. We asked for $20,000 and we were successfully funded. Ended up going a little over, got around 23,000. So that was a big success for us. We basically had just been building sort of grassroots support for the project through Twitter and social media. We had been, I guess, for about a year. Let's go back a second. We had started the project in 2013, and we had been working on it for about a year, and then that's when we finally started going off to Twitter and Facebook, posting screenshots. And we did that for about another year or so, just slowly building following on our Twitter and our Facebook account. And then we launched a Kickstarter. We tried to do like a little hype campaign up to the release of it, and then during the entire campaign we reached out to a lot of press, Twitch Let's Players, and were able to get it funded. So it's very exciting for us.
Yeah, I can imagine that. It's a lot easier when you actually have the funds to produce your stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Very helpful.
For what platforms have you developed Shadows of Adam?
So Shadows of Adam is going to initially be released on PC, Mac, and Linux, and through Steam. Those are the ones we've promised. There's always an opportunity to go to maybe like a handheld or console ports, but those aren't in the cards right now. If that changes, you guys will be the first to know. But yeah, so PC, Mac, Linux, and through Steam is our release day options for playing the game.
Okay, well that's enough, I think. Yeah, what type of education have you done?
Excuse me, you said adaptation?
Education.
Education.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, my personal background is I went to school and I have a master's degree in composition. I'm a professional musician. I studied jazz in college and music composition. So that was my background, and that's what I've done for my career, and also for Shadows of Adam. I'm the composer, and that was my main job with the program, with the game. The others, I'm not sure what level of education. I know I imagine a couple of them gone to college for various things, and we all have our own day jobs, so we aren't doing this full time yet. I know Josh and Ty, our two programmers, both have jobs in some sort of programming or web development kind of gigs, but I'm not sure what their education is. But I would also say a lot of the education in making Shadows of Adam is just playing a lot of retro games. A lot of Chrono Trigger, a lot of Final Fantasy VI, Earthbound, and a lot of studying why those games work, what makes them great. I think it's just as important, and kind of having your finger on what makes a game good.
Yeah, that's really important.
So yeah, I mean,
how many people in total have worked on Oh yeah, on Shadows of Adam.
So the main team, the Something Classic team, is 5 people, and that includes me, Josh, the programmer, Ty, another programmer, Luke, our scriptwriter and level designer, and Tim, our art director. But we have hired a few contractors. Tim was mainly like leading the art directing, so he hired a few folks. I think he probably worked with 3 or 4 different art guys. I think there was one guy who mainly did all the tiles, and another guy did most of the sprites and battle animations. I hope that's correct, but and then there were maybe 2 other guys who did like small things here and there when we needed to get them done. And then we also hired one guy to do sound effects, Austin Shannon. I worked with him directly. I don't know the artist names off the top of my head because Tim was kind of in charge of that. So probably the 5 of us in Something Classic is the main team, and then we've hired about 5 contractors to do various art and sound design work.
Okay. Well, that's a really small team.
Yeah, also I'd be remiss if I didn't thank all the wonderful beta testers we had. We went to beta about, let's see, October of last year, and we rounded up some of the most enthusiastic and thorough beta testers we had ever found, and they did a wonderful job. Really helped us get the game to a next level polish, and just finding all sorts of edge case bugs and little things that we had missed or oversights. It was actually quite entertaining to watch. I was watching one of the testers test the game on stream, and there were just some oversights with some of the gameplay balances, and they had figured out some strategies to become extremely powerful in the game, and to the point where they beat the final boss in 2 hits. That obviously wasn't planned, and so we immediately had to kind of fix some oversights, but that was just kind of showing the quality of our testers, kind of thinking outside the box, trying different strategies. Very, very helpful, so big thanks to those guys.
Yeah, that's really important too. Yeah, the next question is, did you use an engine?
Did we use an... Sorry, say that again?
Did you use an engine? It can be Unreal or Unity or... Yeah.
Oh, engine. This is done in Impact.js, so JavaScript. I'm not too savvy on the tech details, I just know what the programmers have told me, but this is all coded in JavaScript in the Impact engine. So I think it's kind of, from what I understand, it's not the most orthodox engine you'd use for a game like this, but there's another game that's kind of a contemporary of ours, I suppose, is this game I've seen on Steam called Crosscode, which is like an action RPG game, and apparently it's using the same engine as us, so that's pretty exciting. But no, we're not in Unity or anything like that. And this is, I just want to say for the record, this is not an RPG Maker game. I know there's sometimes a little bit...
That's a good thing.
Yeah, I know there's a little bit of stigma with that, and I was thinking how I mentioned how we had done that in the past, and I don't want to give anyone any thoughts of the quality of this project, though there are probably some wonderful RPG Maker games. This is not an RPG Maker game, this is a professional polished product, and it's designed in Impact using JavaScript.
Well, that's better than RPG Maker. I have sometimes that I have an RPG Maker and I'm like, how am I gonna play this? Nothing works.
Right.
That's my reason to not buy RPG Maker games anymore.
Yeah, it's a little. I mean, it's a hobbyist community, and it's a wonderful community that a lot of us started in. Me and Josh and Tim and Luke. Luke was the creator of a really famous RPG Maker game back in the early 2000s. So we have a lot of fond memories of the community and learned a lot, but it's at its heart like a fun hobbyist community, and so you know there's a few projects that come out of there that are professional quality and have had commercial success, but that's not really the point of the community. So
what was the biggest challenge to produce Shadows of Adam?
Well, I think the initial challenge was just getting all the immense amount of art assets we needed to complete the game. So for the longest time we were just unable to advance to feature areas or work linearly because we were missing certain art assets. So in the initial development, we sort of just did a divide and conquer sort of strategy. So we basically just designed what maps we could, designed what areas we could. We didn't go in any particular order, and use as much temporary graphics as possible. So even up to like, I would say summer of last year, there were still a lot of areas of the game that were playable from beginning to end, but were missing graphics that we needed. So that was challenging. The Kickstarter definitely helped with that. But even, you know, you think $20,000, I mean, even that was just barely enough to get everything we need between all the town designs, all the dungeon designs, all the character sprites, all the monsters, all the skill animations, all the scene-specific little props and poses. So, you know, there might be a scene where the character is, I don't know, there's one scene where these two characters are in a mine and they're using like axes and they're like hitting these pieces of ore. Like, we have to have a custom animation for that. You know, there's scenes where a guy gets jumped on, he gets squished, and so there's like custom animations for that. So a lot of just like really specific kind of things we needed. So I would say that would be the biggest challenge. Now in our stage of development where the game is completely done, right now it's just playtesting, looking for bugs, fixing the bugs we know about, and just ensuring the highest level of quality as possible. What's challenging as we get really close to a version 1.0 is that every time we fix a new issue, we have to be careful to make sure that it didn't create a new issue, if that makes sense. So sometimes when you fix a bug, it inadvertently creates an issue somewhere else that you have to hunt down and find. And also, another challenging thing is just to really think of all the edge cases and try to break the game. So, yeah, that's kind of where we're at right now.
Well, you are almost at the final product, so that's a thing, right?
Yeah, very, very close. I mean, we just went to version 0.99, so we're almost at 1.0.
Okay.
And all the graphics are completely done, all the music's done. The game is playable from beginning to end. It has been for quite a while, actually. All the balance has been done. We might make some minor tweaks, but we've gotten all the balance. So basically, there's just like a handful of little bugs that we are aware of that we're trying to fix right now.
Okay, well, you have like a month left or something?
I can't say a specific release date, but yeah, a month is about the time frame, I would say. We're holding off on announcing a date until we're absolutely sure and we could sort of coordinate some sort of marketing effort. Mm-hmm. We have a few ideas that we're working behind the scenes that I can't talk about right now, but could be very exciting for Shadows of Adam. But yes, I would say in the next months to come, you will definitely see Shadows of Adam.
Okay. Did you get any help from the industry to develop and promote Shadows of Adam?
For promotion, I mean, most of the press we've gotten and attention we've gotten for Shadows of Adam has been very grassroots. We haven't really been covered by any major gaming press like Kotaku or Rock, Paper, Shotgun, or whatever it's called. Most of it's been more local or small indie sort of press, or just kind of retweets or Twitter action or stuff on YouTube or Facebook. Something that did help us a lot, especially when we were kickstarting, was when we were nearing the end of our campaign and we still had a ways to go, we started reaching out to Let's Players and Twitch streamers. And basically the deal was, we'll just give you the demo for free, and if you just want to promote the game however you see fit on your channels. And that helped a lot, actually. And so I remember being quite busy during that period with gigs and real life work, but I would be always on my phone. I had like a 3-hour car ride, I was riding backseat, and I was on the phone watching this guy's Twitch stream because he had 20 people watching, and I wanted to be able to interact with all of them. So you know, I made sure to answer their questions and help them feel confident that this was going to be a successful project. And I think those little like kind of grassroots thing really helped tick us up a little bit. But that being said, we are definitely trying to work on getting some more bigger press, but and also reaching out to smaller like content creators. We have kind of been talking to a lot of folks who are very eager as soon as Shadows of Adam comes out to do Let's Plays, to do first looks reviews. So there should be a lot more of that in the coming weeks. We're very excited about that.
Yeah, I can imagine that. Finding press is really interesting.
Yeah, and I think it's the indie game scene is pretty saturated right now, I would say. So yeah, it's definitely challenging to kind of cut through the fog, especially with a game like ours, which is a little bit of a niche game, and it's not hugely innovative in the sense that it's not like pushing the genre too much. Though we think there are some unique things about Shadows of Adam that make it stand out. It's very much like a niche game designed up for a certain era of a certain era aesthetic with like modern sensibilities. So that's challenging, but yeah, it's definitely an interesting world out there. But I found like Twitter is very helpful, and I love interacting directly with people on Twitter and finding people who are passionate about Shadows of Adam and kind of use them to help us, promote our project. But yeah.
Okay. Yeah, what type of games would you play in your free time?
So I'm a big RPG fan. I've always have been. I love JRPGs. So the last game I've been playing was Final Fantasy 15, which I enjoyed. I love just playing the older games. They're kind of my comfort food. So a lot of the old Final Fantasies, Chrono Trigger, Earthbound. But I'm also a huge fan of platformers. I love traditional Mario games. I'm really looking forward to Super Mario Odyssey. Really looking forward to that. I love the Donkey Kong Country series. I loved Banjo-Kazooie. Man, that makes me sound old. That's like a 20-year-old game, now that I'm thinking about it. As far as modern gaming, I haven't played a whole lot of the modern games. I was thinking to myself, like, before I bought my PS4 a few months ago, the last game I had bought was Mario Galaxy. And in my mind, I thought, yeah, that's a pretty modern game. But then I thought, no, that was out in 2006. Kind of shows you where I'm at. But, yeah, I love RPGs. That's probably my favorite. Then platformers, and kind of like games like that. Like, I love Super Mario Bros. 3, one of my favorite games of all time. Still play that game. Super Mario World. I love GoldenEye. I know that's kind of an outdated first-person shooter, but I think that game's a lot of fun. So, I don't know if that gives you kind of a peek into my preferences.
Yeah, it does. You actually called games that I actually know. That's fun.
Yeah. I think one day when I have, some more time, I might try to get into some of the more modern games I hear people rave about, like Skyrim and Portal and all that stuff. But I guess, there was a period of my life where I didn't play very much, like when I got to college, so most of the games I still remember the games I played a lot when I was younger, so.
Well, I can say Skyrim is fun.
Yeah, I've heard great things about it. It's kind of more of a sandbox style RPG, right? Like open world.
Yeah, it's open world and you fight dragons.
Nice.
You go on an adventure. When you play it on PC, you can add mods, and then you can be a blob, and yeah.
Nice.
You know how PC works in that kind of
Sure.
sense.
Oh yeah.
I haven't played as a blob, by the way, but it can be. I think. I'm not sure. How long did it take to create Shadows of Adam?
So we started in October of 2013. So it's been a quite long development time. So a little over 3 years. And the project seemed like a lot of different waves of development. So when we first started, the very beginning, when it was just me and Josh, this originally was going to be an 8-bit style game. Like Nintendo style. And the music was all chip tunes. So that old, like, kind of grating synth style. And we developed about an hour of gameplay doing that. And then slowly, when we brought more people in, the project scope kind of grew. Yeah, I was actually looking at this random video I found on my computer. That was a video of gameplay footage I took back in like December of 2013, and the game looked so incredibly different. It almost was like a different project. The graphics were all different. The battle system was very text-based, so instead of showing like HP values on the enemies, it was all done in text boxes, kind of like old Dragon Warrior games. And we completely redesigned the first dungeon. So we originally had this area called the Courtyard, which for about the first 7 months of the game, that was the initial dungeon until Luke convinced us to change it, which at the time I was really opposed because it felt like we were going backwards. But in the long run, I think it was the right decision. So yeah, it's been a while. We're anxious to wrap this project up.
Yeah, that I can imagine.
Yeah, very anxious, but we're not going to. I mean, we're only going to release this one. It's the best project we can possibly put out, so we're not in a hurry per se to get it just out for the sake of being done. But we are excited to finally put this chapter of our lives behind us.
I can imagine that. It's fun to make something, but at some point it has to be finished.
Yeah, and the good news is that the game is done. I mean, it has been, and we've been very clear with the team that, with the exception of extreme circumstance, like what we have is what we have. We're not going to be massively rewriting the story of this point, or adding new dungeons, or changing a dungeon completely. Like, what it is what it is, and we're very happy with what it is. Now we're just trying to make sure that there's, you know, as bug-free as we can possibly get it to be. And of course, you can never find every bug, and there'll probably be continual development post-release. But the ones we are aware of and the ones we found in the last 4 or 5 months, we've been working to make this game, like I said, the best it can possibly be.
Okay, well, I'm out of questions, so if you want to tell anything else, you can do it now.
Sure. Well, maybe I'll just go ahead and plug our websites. So you can find out more about Shadows of Adam on our websites, shadowsofadam.com and somethingclassic.net. And you can pre-order the game on both those websites, and when you pre-order you get beta access, so you can start playing right away. We have a forum on Shadows of Adam, which we like to interact with fans, and people post questions about the gameplay, maybe if they find bugs, you know. So we're pretty active on the forums. Our Twitter at Something Classic, and then our Facebook page, Something Classic Games. It's a great way to reach us. We're also on Humble Bundle if you want to pre-order us there, and we have a Steam page set up. And yeah, so we'll hopefully be released in the next coming weeks, and keep your eyes open for a bunch of press blast of Shadows of Adam.
Yeah, all those links will also be in the description below, so you can just click
course,
on it.
Yeah. Well, it's just nice to say it. I've been working on my my social media pitch.
Oh yeah, but they will also be in the description. Then they can click on it, because YouTubers are lazy in general, too lazy to type a website. If they can click on it, they will go to it. But if they have to type it, they mostly don't.
Sure, makes sense.
Yeah. Well, yeah, then this was it.
Cool. Thanks for the interview.
No problem.
Cool.